wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Sing it with us. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go. Something wonderful, everybody sing. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful, something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. Something wonderful. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. And we're so happy to have you here. We're so happy to have Carrie Hillary back as our guest artist. And we've got another song for you. Now, if you're warmed up and ready to stand up, we're ready to start our services officially. And the next song. I let the love wash over me. 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 I let the
Wonderful.
Tyler, but he's around someplace. We have Carrie, Brian, and Dan with us today. Thank you guys so much for being here, and welcome, Carrie. We're so glad to have you back. Good morning, Unity of Walnut Creek. Good morning. Good morning. You guys are beautiful, beautiful souls of God. My name is Linda Stevens, and it's my joy and my honor to be with you today, helping out with the service a little bit. Okay, let's kind of come in. Oh, the folks at home. I didn't forget you. I'm so glad you're there. Thank you for being here with us today. We know your presence is here in the spirit, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you. Now, for those of you who've got something that rings or dings or buzzes, if you could turn it off or at least put it on silence. I feel like I'm reverberating. Do you guys feel like it? Can you guys fix that a little bit? So just tone me down maybe a little bit. People tell me, oh, no, yeah, not really. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a very special guest. Not a very guest, a very special guest speaker. And most of you are going to remember Reverend Denise Shellick. Denise is an ordained Unity minister for over 15 years throughout worldwide ministries. And she has also been doing transitional consultant. And as most of you know, she was our very own transitional consultant after Reverend David, and she helped us bring Reverend Kristen here. And that was such a blessing to us. We appreciated her so much. She's also a certified Q Effect coach, and she serves as a certified coach for the Be Peace process. She's the mother of 2 young men, a new grandmother, and a wife and husband. Wrong. She has a husband. She's a wife to her husband, Larry. And he's a minister at the Santa Barbara Church. So if you're ever down there, please drop into their church. Please join me in welcoming back Reverend Denise. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. That's why we come every week, to move forward on our path and to hear special messages. At Unity of Walnut Creek, we have a mission, and that mission is, in a loving community, we empower spiritual growth by modeling and teaching universal principles. And I now invite you to join me in affirming our statement of faith. It'll show up on the monitor. There it is. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Now let that sink in just a little bit into your heart. And let's repeat it once again. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And now if you're here with us for the very first time, and you're comfortable in doing so, we're going to invite you to raise your hand and let us know that you're here so that we can give you a packet of information about Unity. And in that, I'm raising my hand, so if you're there, you can do it too. If you're not, that's okay, because we've got a very special gift for you. Thank you. And inside that packet is a wooden necklace that's handmade by one of our congregants. And if you're willing to wear that today, we'll know you're new, and we'll be able to come up and tell you hello out in the patio. Now, there's also a connection card in that packet. Please take it to our bookstore for an additional gift. And if you didn't raise your hand, that's okay. You can go to the bookstore and get one of those packets. We're just glad you're here. Now, everyone is invited to fill out a connection card. They're available in the seat pocket in front of you. With this card, you can submit a prayer request, and one of our prayer chaplains will be praying with you throughout the week. You may also give us feedback on those cards. If you request information, our staff will return your call during the week. Until you hear the gong, please stand up and greet those around you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mike. Authors Sunday is today in our bookstore, and will feature Alexandra de Avalon. So if you'll join us after the last service for a light lunch conversation with the author and special discounts. Next Sunday, Scott Grace will be here for the services and an afternoon workshop to help us let go of old beliefs and learn ways to allow ease to be our compass and guiding light. He uses music and humor to create conscious comedy. Would you like to be part of making leadership decisions for your spiritual home as a member of our Board of Trustees? Please complete the nomination application found on the welcome table in the courtyard. Our volunteer appreciation picnic is on October 1st. This is the day we celebrate our many volunteers who have donated time over this last year. It doesn't matter what you've done, it all counts. Please join us for a fun and special afternoon. And if you go out on the patio today, you can find out how you can be part of the Summer of Love, which is Unity's Out of Sight fall fundraiser. And Javier Cortez has a few words for us.
Good morning, everybody. It's my job to remind you that this coming Saturday is the Tacos del Sol Fiesta, hosted by your Unity Men's Group.
Tacos de Sol? Tacos del Sol? Yo estoy tacos de Sol.
You're the son?
Sí.
Ay. Hola, Solecito.
¿Dónde está Tacos de Sol?
Good question. The Tacos del Sol will be in the multi-use room, and we will be serving all-you-can-eat authentic tacos, which will include vegan and pescatarian options for those of you that don't eat meat. Plus, we'll have world-renowned libations by yours truly.
Whoa.
And we will have a live band called the Deacons entertaining you while we eat.
Why? ¿Cuándo es el Tacos de Sol?
The Tacos del Sol is this coming Saturday.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll dance the night away with DJ Old School, Mr. Tyler Snortum Phelps himself.
Bueno! Tacos de Sol!
And it starts at 6 p.m. Saturday. Tickets are available after the service and at the door. Thank you.
Please take a close look at today's bulletin. It's chock full of valuable details on these and other wonderful activities. Also, check your email box for the hot off the press September issue of Centerpoint. Now let's enjoy another musical selection by Carrie Hilary.
Questions in my mind. Sometimes I feel lost and paralyzed with fear. It's time to open up until the path is clear. 'Cause I can be anything. in your minds. Everybody sing. 'Cause I can be anything if I only try my wings. If I only try my wings. 'Cause I can be anything if I only believe. If I only believe. If I only believe. If I only believe.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, lovely. Good morning. So happy to be back with you all and see your beautiful faces. So now we're moving to a more contemplative place in the service, and my beautiful friend Susan Monroe, the prayer chaplain, is here to share the community prayer. Thank you.
Today's prayer is adapted from the Daily Word of July 15th, 2004. The topic, non-resistance. Inspired by Spirit, I am open and receptive to life. I prepare myself for a life of non-resistance and acceptance with meditation and prayer. In conscious union with Spirit, I know that nothing can threaten my inner sense of well-being. With an attitude of acceptance rather than resistance, I express the qualities of openness and consideration that are the natural state of my being. Because I am willing to accept circumstances as they are and meet life's challenges with an attitude of non-resistance, I have energy to devote to constructive methods of succeeding. I accomplish what is mine to do in cooperation with others. And the scripture is, you have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist. From Matthew 5:38 through 39.
So join me as we begin this meditation and open up through music.
God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of that life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of that life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God.
So join me now as we journey inwardly, of really knowing God is all there is, and I am one with this one beautiful presence. So taking that holy breath as we become fully present and aware of this spaciousness, of this holy sanctuary that contains the attributes of the living, loving Christ Spirit, of peace, of love, compassion, intelligence and wisdom, beauty, tranquility. So we thank you, beloved presence, for this community, for our awakening that continues to happen day by day, moment by moment. So taking that healing breath, one with the power of the divine, I am peace. I am the very presence of peace in my world. My thoughts, my words, my actions are in harmony, so that I project peace from the inside out. I am clear that peace is not a smiley face, a mask I wear, but a calm, confident generosity of spirit released from within. It comes from the imprisoned splendor that lives in me. I am the power of peace expressed in my thoughts. And so we thank you, Spirit, as we align our thoughts with yours, that in this troubling times, I am the presence of peace where there is anxiety or tension. I am the presence of love where there is hatred. I am the hands of God here on earth, that I am present to be that light for others to follow. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
My heart is open to the full expression of that light living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God.
And so it is. Amen.
You've got a heavy heart. So I want you to know, though you've been ducking, the hardest of blows feels like you're sinking to the lowest of lows. Though it's hard to believe, if we just let things go, all good things will come. Let it flow. Your spirit's aching from pain dark and deep, and you've lost track of the night. You couldn't sleep, we're miles apart, but I can still hear you weep. Though it's hard to believe, if we just let things go, all good things will come. Just let it flow, let it flow. From deep in your heart, there's a new start every day. Just believe and follow your heart straight, 'cause your heart knows the way. We're fighting battles, and there's some we can't win. Each hard ending brings a place to begin. Keep on believing, don't you ever give in. Though it's hard to believe, if you just let things go, all good things will come. Just let it flow. I see the light that won't be dimmed by your tears, and I'll stand by you through your darkest of fears. Get you moving when you're grinding your gears. Though it's hard to believe, if we just let things go, all good things will come. Just let it flow, let it flow. From deep in your heart, there's a new start every day. Just believe and follow your heart. Stretch your heart goes the way.
No. I've been staying with a friend, and she has a grandson who's about 4 or 5 years old. And he had an earache, and so he wanted some aspirin, so he sort of knew when to get the little aspirin thing, pain reliever, and he goes in, and he's really, really frustrated, to get it open. It's not opening. And so his mom says, it's a child-proof cap, so I'm going to need to open that for you. And so he looks at it and he says, well, how in the world does it know it's me? Isn't that great? That is so great. The world does evolve around us at that age, and it's just so perfect and precious and so beautiful. So you just went through, as we all did, the World Day of Prayer, which was Peace in the Midst. Isn't that the best? I love that title. And it's so funny because I got a little irritated a week or two ago, just once. No, I was just sort of talking to my husband about something, and I was talking, and I was sort of still in this escalated place from something else, and then we started talking about the World Day of Prayer. And I said, yeah, it's pissed in the mist. And we both started laughing our heads off. Isn't it just so good to realize, that when we're in that place of disconnected and discontented, that it doesn't accumulate and attract more good. It brings more of the pissy in vinegar stuff, right? So it was just this perfect reminder for me. I could either be peace in the midst or, or not. So I am choosing to do more peace. Especially in this world that seems to be at unrest and continues to be in turmoil over a variety of things, hurricanes and water issues and fires and racism and well, there's a long list, but we are moving in a place, I believe, of a greater connection to all. That in unity, that's what we want to know that's true, is that we are interconnected, we are interdependent on each other for our awakening, and that you'll recall the vision of unity worldwide is a world powerfully transformed through a shared spiritual awakening. So I want to be part of that and not be in my, other parts of me. And I heard something recently from Chief Arvo Looking Horse, the Native American leader. He said, we are all so disconnected that it's important to maintain the sacred sites all over the world, and we need to protect those so that we can come together to connect to the one thread in life, the one presence and one power we call God. He says we need to heal together in order for this world to survive. We need to gather together. And we need to know that no faith is greater than the other, that no nation is greater than the other, and no race is greater than the other. That we are all equal brothers and sisters on this planet. And we so know that. And in unity, we like to say that we're not really religious, but we're spiritual. And I'm always curious how we define that. And everyone sort of has a different definition. But I came across one the other day that surprised me because it's from a Burmese diplomat, U Tant, from Bernice, and he was the Secretary General of the United Nations from 1961 to 1971. And he says this about spirituality. Spirituality is a state of connectedness to life. It's an experience of being, belonging, and caring. It's sensitivity and compassion, joy and hope. It is the harmony between the innermost life and the outer life, or the life of the world and the life of the universe. It is the supreme comprehension of life in time and space, a tuning of the inner person with the great mysteries and the secrets that are all around us. I love that. It's tapping into this infinite intelligence and wisdom that is. And it's not telling us, how to worship a God of our knowing. It's a connection. It is a sensitivity and compassion to bring joy and caring to this earth, to humanity. And I think it's a practice. Yes? Spirituality is a practice. It isn't something all of a sudden we go, well, I'm spiritual. I got it, I have to work at that idea. I have to work to remember my divinity. I have to work to remember I'm not my thinking, I'm not my mind, I'm not my world. That I'm so much greater than that, as you are. So being at peace in the midst is our work being a non-anxious presence, which is what I came here a few months ago to sort of invite us into. And that's not always easy, is it? When there begins to be turmoil and chaos and confusion on the extremities of life. You know, the hurricane is all around, you know, and yet we're called to be the eye of the storm. We're called to be that presence that is peace. As Jesus taught us, you know, peace be still. That's what he told his disciples when they got all upset about the storm that was a brewing. And he, you know, stood in the boat and created this presence and said, peace be still. And the winds calmed and the seas became still. So as we went through this week with unity of being peace in the midst, we were asked to pray peace, to be peace, and to do peace. That was our task this week. So we're not just praying peace, but we're being peace in the midst of challenges. We're doing peace by doing things in the world. And many of us sometimes worry that we're not doing enough, or we're worried that, you know, the world it's too late to save it. But truly, worry does not take away tomorrow's troubles. It takes away today's peace. Yes? So, I know that we're in this paradigm shift, and that's been going on for thousands of years. And the paradigm shift has to do with our conscious awareness of our oneness and our ability to recognize our own spirituality and our own divinity, and to align that with teachings here in the physical realm. So we have spiritual laws in a physical reality. Sometimes confusing, right? So the paradigm looks something like this. So the first paradigm sounds like this: I get to blame. Or you're doing something to me. I'm right, you're wrong. I win, you lose. I'm better or less than you. There's separation, judgment, conflict. There's misperception and miscommunication. And in this field, this paradigm, there's fear and there's mistrust, there's separation and competition, there's lack, there's scarcity, and there's just plain not enough. You know what I'm talking about? Yes? So we sometimes live in that paradigm and believe that that's the truth of us, and that's sort of an exclusive black and white belief system. But we're moving and growing through that. And so the other paradigm, and I know there's more than two, but for simplicity, is sort of the other side, the yin and the yang. So the paradigm is just a set of belief systems that we live, and our global vision, our global idea, is no one and nothing is against me. The entire universe is here to support me. Total acceptance. Everyone must be here for my benefit. And we are absolute potential in the realm of infinite possibilities. And whatever somebody else thinks of me is none of my business. Yes? So in this field, there's trust and faith and connection. There's communion. There's non-resistance. there's compassion, there's generosity, and there's a sufficiency. Whew. Do you recognize that field? Yes? Yeah. So this is where we're shifting. This is where we're shifting, and you and I sort of live in that second paradigm, hopefully most of the time. And what we're wanting to do is bring everybody with us into that knowing. Because remember, our vision for unity is a world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening, not it's us. We got the secret. We got the idea. We got the knowing, and we're going to heaven. Woe unto you who's not with us. So that's an exclusive environment, isn't it? So we are in this inclusive environment where everyone is welcomed at the table. Everyone is welcomed at this table. During the Charlottesville episode, where we had some extreme violence there was an interview with a Christian Piccolini. And Christian Piccolini was a former skinhead and co-founder of Life After Hate. He was a part of the neo-Nazi and right-wing extremist. And Christian Piccolini said this. He said, "There's never been anybody in the history of the world who's changed their racist views by being punched." So, and this may not be a popular thought, but we really need to understand that these people, are human beings who are broken. And eventually it's impossible to reconcile the prejudice once you yourself have witnessed that the people you hate are not the monsters you've created in your head. So it wasn't until Christian had an experience of knowing a Jew, knowing a black person, knowing a Muslim. It wasn't until they walked into a store and he had a conversation with them, connecting, that he began to doubt the views of this culture that he was part of. And he began to break that illusion, break those lies that were running his world. And he began to see the good and the great in all. But that, doesn't happen through violence. I want to tell you a story about an Aikido master, but before I do, I want to share a little bit about myself when I was a young girl. You may not know this, but when I was growing up, I was sort of a tomboy. And so I learned sort of early. We had 2 boys and 2 girls in our family, and there was these rules about, the boys had certain chores and the girls had certain chores, and ours were every day, and theirs was once a week. And I said, and I began to notice the inequality throughout a lot of things, and I said, I think I want to be a boy. That's going to be more fun. So I sort of began to align with that and played football and all those things. And I remember one day, I was 8 or 10 years old, and I was watching across the street from my window in my home, and there was my neighbor friend who was sitting on top of my little brother. And it looked like he was hurting him. Now, whether or not he was, I don't really know. You know how sometimes they wrestle and play. But in my mind, I created an enemy out of this, my neighbor, and I ran across the street, tore him off my brother, and beat him up. That is not a story I like to tell, but isn't it true that when we see folks in the world that are harming others, don't you just want to take them out? It's just the easy path, isn't it? Is, a tit for a tat. I'm just going to easily, harm this person because, by God, they're doing the wrong thing. And I can justify everything I'm doing. Now, haven't we done that in our warring? is that we begin to dehumanize people, and we begin to see that they're a monster or they're evil. And we create walls and separation from these people and begin to be allowed to give permission to harm an entire race by seeing them as not human, as an enemy. So there's a story of the Aikido master on a train, and on this train was an Aikido student, and on this train was a very drunken man who was very big and very aggressive and very violent. And he was behaving in a way that was rather frightening to most of the people on the train. And this Aikido student was there, and he was sort of young and virile and handsome and muscular, and he'd been practicing Aikido for 7 to 8 hours a day for 5 years. And he was in this situation, and he was sort of beginning to think, here's my opportunity to practice my Aikido. I'm ready to take out this son of a gun because he is harming these people. And the more this gentleman acted out, and it became aggressive and, pushed over a pregnant woman, and she fell into the arms of an elderly couple who were upset, and it just began to continue on. And he said to himself, one more move and I'm taking him out. And he said something in his mouth and sort of blew a kiss to this drunkard guy to sort of egg him on. You know what I'm talking about? Come on. And in that moment, there was this small, very elderly man in the corner that said, hey, hey. And he got the attention of this drunkard, and he said, come here, I want to talk to you. And he had this lilt in his voice, and there was compassion and love, and it was confusing to everyone. And he began to say, so what have you been drinking? And the drunkard said, I've been drinking sake. It's none of your business. And the man, the elderly man began to say, oh, sake, I love sake. In the evening, my wife and I, we warm it up, and we sit under the peach tree, and we talk about our families, and we remember the time that we were together, and we cherish this peach tree that was planted by our great-great-grandfather. And he said, those evenings are so precious and wonderful, being with my wife. I'm imagining you have a wife, yes? And he says, no, I have no wife. I have no wife, I have no house, and I have no job. I'm so ashamed. And he begins to sob, falls into the lap of this elderly man, and the elderly man begins to stroke his hair. And there's the Aikido student, ready to pounce on this man. And he's so humbled by this Aikido master that is stroking the hair of this drunkard who taught him that we're not here to force another to see our way, but to invite them through love and compassion. So the activity of Aikido is the relationship of the attacker and the receiver, that there is a co-creation at play. The opponents essentially become partners. This is how Gandhi and King and our master teachers who taught us about peace and nonviolence, that their enemies soon became their biggest supporters just by their nonviolent principles and the presence that they brought. And in the offering of compassion, there is this release of the fight, a letting go of defending, a feeling of connection and hope that has been born. And so this young Aikido student, looking for justice, looking for a way to destroy the evil, the bad guy, in the resistance of what he did not want, he drew that energy toward him. Because in that moment, the drunkard was moving toward him to begin that physical force. So if we want to be free from violence and oppression, we need to no longer lend our voice to it, no longer call war on it. That will only bring more of that. So learning to move away from a consciousness of war and being for peace and nonviolence. That is what we're here to do, to pray peace, to be peace, and to do peace. In the Q process that I got to teach yesterday, it talks about uncovering our shadow thoughts that are lurking beneath our conscious minds. And it is my opinion that those that are in that field of separation and hatred are simply expressing from their shadow self. And that they too have a spark of divinity. That there's another side to their card, that we each have this card, our shadow self and our divine self. And that each and every moment we get to choose which one we will express from. Yes? Right. And so our work is about peacemaking. And the only really way to make peace is to be it. We can't make anything from a consciousness of hatred and separation. So peacemaking, I found in a beautiful definition that I'm going to end with. It's from the Liturgy for Ordinary Radicals, for those that like to look things up. The Liturgy for Ordinary Radicals. And this is what this group of clergy say about peacemaking. Peacemaking doesn't mean passivity. It's an act of interrupting injustice without mirroring injustice. The act of disarming evil without destroying the evildoer. The act of finding a third way that is neither fight nor flight, but the careful, arduous pursuit of reconciliation and justice. It's about a revolution of love that is big enough to set both the oppressed and the oppressor free. Peacemaking is about being able to recognize in the face of the oppressed our own faces, these truths that set us free, from recognizing our own darkness and shining the light of truth. That we are here to be a beacon of light for others to follow. Thank you.
Reverend Denise, we are so blessed to have you here with us yet again. Please keep coming back. Thank you. Thank you. Our prayer chaplains are here this morning to offer you that very special experience of personal prayer. They'll have the lavender stoles on, and please see them after service and ask them to pray with you if that is something that would be in your heart to have done today. And it's now time for our prosperity celebration. So let's open our hearts to the consciousness of giving as we align with a universal law of circulation, which is, as we give, shall we receive. Because in truth, there is no lack or limitation, because abundance is already our true nature. There's a variety of ways that you can give to Unity of Walnut Creek. For credit card donations, you can push pay on your smartphone. Or you can take one of the yellow envelopes in the back, on the clipboard in the back of each of your chairs. Now, notice, do you remember that little CVC code on the back? If you do use a credit card, please include that code as well. And if you're an ongoing giver of Unity with credit card, please see Shonda that is out in the bookstore, because they now need, this is new, for those credit card donations, they need that CVC card, a number that's on the back of your credit card. Otherwise, nothing's going through anymore. So thank you for taking care of that. Also, you at home can do the push pay on the donate on the Watch Life page. Now I encourage you to have your tithes and your offering in your hand and affirm with me our blessing. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. And now I think we have another song by Carrie. Thank you.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Driving down the wind in my face, music's cranked up, getting out of this place. Driving by side of the line, just driving, the destination in mind.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you for being here. Whoa. I invite the ushers forward for us to bless the offering. As we bless this offering, we bless the giver and the receiver, that it may go forth and multiply and increase the good in our lives and all of the lives that we touch. Thank you. Now, let's affirm our blessing together. We give thanks for our ever-increasing, unceasing flow of absolute good in our lives now. And now, let's have our young people come forward.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God.
Perfect. Well, you're small, but you're mighty. Yes, you are mighty. Absolutely. So let's bless our children now. Youth and teachers, you are loved, special, and important. The light of God shines through you. And we're so glad you were here this morning. Thank you. Now let's stand and join hands as we say our prayer of protection together. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us, and wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now our peace song. The love and the peace on the earth right now. So let your light shine and have fun.